The vast black of space was calm, almost peaceful, but inside the bridge of the human ship Odyssey, tension crackled like electricity. Commander Reyna Cole's eyes scanned the glowing control panels, her fingers moving quickly across the holographic display. The ship's engines hummed steadily, but the sensors were screaming a warning she couldn't ignore. Something was out there. Something big. Far away, in the heart of the Galactic Empire, alarms blared through the Imperial Council chambers. High Command stared at the screens, their faces pale. "That ship, it's human," one officer whispered, his voice trembling. "But that ship shouldn't exist. It's impossible." On the bridge of the Odyssey, the crew worked silently but urgently. Reyna felt the weight of every decision pressing on her shoulders. The Empire had declared humans a minor threat, easy to control. But they had underestimated her species. They had underestimated humanity's ingenuity, its relentless courage. The sensors picked up a fleet approaching at impossible speed. Imperial ships, glinting steel in the cold light of distant stars. The Odyssey's engines roared as Reyna barked orders. "Evasive maneuvers. Full thrusters. Keep them off our tail." Lieutenant Mark Voss, the ship's tactical officer, shook his head. "Commander, they're faster than us. They'll catch up in minutes." Reyna didn't answer. She didn't need to. She already knew. Humans were never just going to run. They adapted. They fought. They survived. And she would make sure the Empire knew it. Suddenly, the ship shuddered. Red lights flashed. "Impact! Shields holding, barely." Voss shouted. A warning tone shrieked. The Empire's fighters had already begun their attack. Lasers cut across the darkness, bouncing off the Odyssey's shields. Sparks flew across the bridge, and the crew ducked instinctively. Reyna's voice was calm but sharp. "Target their engines. Fire when ready." The crew worked with precision, fingers flying over controls, eyes fixed on screens filled with chaos. The human ship was small, but it was powerful. And it was determined. In the Imperial Council, panic had taken over. "We underestimated them," shouted Admiral Sorek, slamming a fist on the table. "Every time we send a fleet, they outmaneuver us. How are they doing this?" A younger officer whispered, almost too softly to hear, "It's not just skill, it's strategy. Humans are unpredictable." Back on the Odyssey, alarms shrieked again. A missile lock. Reyna's eyes narrowed. "Brace for impact." The ship shook violently as the first Imperial torpedoes struck. But something happened. The missiles didn't destroy the Odyssey. They exploded harmlessly against an invisible field, a shield unlike anything the Empire had ever seen. The crew stared in awe. "It's holding," Voss said, voice trembling. Reyna's lips pressed into a thin line. She knew the Empire would not stop. They never did. And humans never gave up. Outside, in the darkness, more fleets appeared. Each one bigger, faster, deadlier. The Empire was sending everything they had. But humanity's ship wasn't just running, it was leading. It was drawing them away from colonies, from innocent worlds, buying time. Time they needed to survive. Time they needed to strike back. Reyna took a deep breath. "Prepare for jump." The crew froze. A jump through hyperspace was risky, especially with the Empire on their tail. But it was the only way. "Coordinates locked," the navigator said. "Ready when you are." The first torpedo hit, shaking the bridge violently. Red lights flashed again. The ship rocked. Reyna's eyes scanned the chaos, calculating every possibility. "Do it," she said. In a flash, the stars stretched and blurred. The Odyssey leapt into hyperspace, leaving a trail of light behind. For a moment, silence filled the bridge, broken only by the hum of the engines. But silence never lasted long. The Empire would regroup. They would hunt. They would come again. And when they did, humanity would be ready. On a distant world, far from the battle, ordinary people went about their lives, unaware of the war unfolding above them. Yet one human ship, small and seemingly insignificant, held the power to change everything. And Reyna Cole knew this was only the beginning. The stars were about to shake, and the galaxy would never forget the name of the humans who dared to fight back. Somewhere, in the cold blackness, a voice spoke through the Empire's encrypted channels, filled with disbelief and fear. That human ship isn't ours, and it won't halt. The hunt had begun, and humanity was ready. The stars outside the Odyssey stretched into streaks of light as the ship raced through hyperspace. Commander Reyna Cole's eyes never left the console. The Empire's fleet would not give up. It never did. She knew the moment they exited this jump, a new danger would await. Distance to the next checkpoint, 3 light minutes, the navigator, Elon Tove, reported. His voice was steady, but his hands trembled slightly. Humans rarely feared space, but the Empire's fleets were a different story. They were ruthless, precise, and endless. Reyna leaned back in her chair for a brief second, feeling the hum of the engines beneath her. "They think they can scare us," she murmured. "They think one human ship is nothing. Let's prove them wrong." On the edge of Imperial space, Admiral Sorex stared at the holomap, his face twisted in rage. They escaped hyperspace. Again. How? "Commander," a young officer spoke, hesitantly. "They used some kind of new drive. Faster than anything in our records." Sorex's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Humans don't have the technology for that. Prepare the next fleet. Send everything. No mercy. We crush them here, before they reach the colonies." Back on the Odyssey, the crew prepared for what Reyna already expected. The Empire would not stop until the humans were dead. Every hand on the bridge moved with purpose, each action calculated. Engineers adjusted power to the shields, weapons officers checked energy levels. Nothing could fail. Not today. Suddenly, the sensors screamed. "Incoming! Multiple contacts! They're surrounding us," shouted Voss. Reyna's jaw tightened. The Empire had outsmarted them. They had split their fleets, moving faster than expected. Divert power to forward shields. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. The first salvo of enemy fire hit. Red flashes lit the bridge as the shields absorbed the impact. Sparks flew. Crew members ducked instinctively. One bolt of energy struck dangerously close to the weapons console, sending a shiver through the ship. "Engaging countermeasures," Voss shouted. Explosions outside made the metal hull shudder. The humans weren't just surviving, they were fighting back. Lasers fired from the Odyssey, aiming for the Empire's engines. One by one, Imperial fighters began to falter, their ships spinning out of control. Somewhere deep in the darkness of space, the Empire's secret weapon activated. A massive warship, black as void itself, detached from the fleet. It moved with deliberate speed, dwarfing every human ship in the galaxy. Its engines glowed red, and energy pulses rippled across its hull. On the Odyssey, the sensors picked it up. "Commander, you need to see this," Elon said, his voice low, almost shaking. Reyna's eyes widened. "A dreadnought," she whispered. She had heard legends of these ships, almost mythical in their power. No single human vessel had ever faced one alone. The warship's cannons powered up. Each blast could obliterate an entire city. The fleet behind it cheered, confident that the humans would finally fall. But Reyna didn't flinch. She leaned forward in her chair, voice calm but firm. "They underestimate us. Again. Prepare the jump drive, but this time, we'll lead them into a trap." Voss's eyes widened. "A trap? Commander? Against that warship?" Reyna nodded. "Yes. That warship is dangerous, yes, but it's predictable. They will follow us. And when they do, we strike." The Odyssey slipped out of hyperspace, entering a narrow system filled with asteroids. The jagged rocks glittered in the light of a distant sun. It was perfect. Small, fast, and deadly. The Empire's fleet pursued, confidence burning in their eyes. They believed victory was near. But the humans were ready. They danced between the asteroids, twisting, turning, firing bursts of energy. One by one, Imperial fighters collided with the rocks or were forced to retreat. The dreadnought followed, massive and unstoppable, plowing through the asteroid field. Each shot it fired obliterated the rocks, but the human ship vanished like a shadow, appearing behind the warship, striking its engines with precision. Sparks and smoke erupted. The fleet behind it froze, stunned. On the bridge of the Odyssey, the crew worked in perfect unison. Reyna's plan was risky, but flawless. They weren't just fighting, they were showing the Empire that humans were clever, relentless, and fearless. Far away, Admiral Sorek clenched his fists, his face pale. Impossible! How are they doing this? The human ship's silhouette appeared in the distance, small but bright against the void. They were survivors, hunters, fighters, and they had just begun. Reyna looked at her crew. We've bought time, and that time will save millions. But remember, this is only the beginning. Humanity never surrenders. The stars outside seemed to tremble as the Odyssey continued through the asteroid field, leaving chaos and confusion in its wake. The Empire would chase them. It always did. But the humans would fight. And fight they would, until the galaxy remembered their name. And somewhere, in the command center of the dreadnought, a voice whispered, almost in disbelief, "These humans, they cannot be stopped." The Odyssey moved like a shadow through the asteroid field, twisting and turning in impossible patterns. Commander Reyna Cole's eyes scanned the readouts, tracking the massive dreadnought and the smaller fleets behind it. Every move they made was calculated, precise, and dangerous. One wrong step and the humans would be crushed. "Commander, the dreadnought's engines are damaged." "It's slowing," Lieutenant Voss reported, a hint of surprise in his voice. Reyna didn't smile. "Not yet." "Good. Keep our course steady. Don't let them realize what we're planning." The Empire's fleet was in chaos. Fighters collided with asteroids or drifted into the void, while the massive dreadnought fired blindly, trying to crush the humans. But the Odyssey was clever. Every move was a trap, every maneuver a challenge. Humanity had always fought with strategy, not just brute force. Far away, Admiral Sorek's face twisted in anger. "They're outsmarting us." "How? How are they always one step ahead?" His officers whispered, afraid to speak too loudly. One of them said, "Commander, they're setting traps. Humans think differently. They predict chaos, and they use it." Sorek slammed his fist on the console. "Enough. Focus on the dreadnought. Nothing else matters. Destroy that ship." Meanwhile, inside the Odyssey, the crew worked in tense silence. Engineers adjusted the shields and power cores. Weapons officers charged energy pulses, ready to strike. Every crew member knew their role. Mistakes meant death. But they were human, and humans thrived under pressure. Suddenly, sensors beeped wildly. "Multiple contacts ahead. Something is emerging from the nebula," the navigator, Elon Tove, shouted. Reyna leaned forward. "Show me." The display filled with images of ships unlike any the humans had faced before, sleek, black, and glowing faintly with blue energy. They moved silently, fast, and in perfect formation. The Empire had more ships, more tricks, and now, something new. "They've brought reinforcements," Voss said, his voice low. "This could be it, Commander. We may not survive this one." Reyna's eyes narrowed. "We survive because we fight smart. Remember, the Empire always underestimates humans. They think we react. We don't. We create opportunities." The new ships advanced. Their weapons glowed, deadly and precise. One blast could tear the Odyssey apart. But Reyna had already seen a pattern. Humans could calculate, adapt, and use the environment to their advantage. "Prepare the asteroid trap," she ordered. "Lead them closer. Time our attack perfectly." The Empire's fleet followed, confident. They thought they had humanity cornered. They didn't know that humans could see possibilities others ignored. The Odyssey darted through a cluster of massive asteroids, hiding among the jagged rocks. The dreadnought followed blindly, its size making it slow and vulnerable. Reyna's crew tensed. "Fire on my mark," she whispered. The moment came. The Odyssey unleashed precise energy pulses that struck the dreadnought's engines. Sparks flew. Metal bent. Smoke billowed into the void. The dreadnought shuddered, lost control, and drifted helplessly into the asteroid field. Smaller Imperial ships collided, destroyed or trapped. The human ship didn't stop. It moved swiftly, striking here and there, leaving chaos behind. The Empire's confidence shattered. For the first time, they faced humans who didn't just survive, they dominated the battlefield with intelligence and daring. Far away, Admiral Sorek gritted his teeth. "Impossible. They should be dead. Every fleet we sent, destroyed or disabled. How can one ship do this?" In the Odyssey, the crew cheered silently. They were alive, yes, but the mission was not yet complete. Humanity needed more than survival. They needed hope, a spark that would show the galaxy they could resist the Empire. Reyna looked at the stars. "This is only the beginning. The Empire will chase us. They will try everything. But we will fight. We will endure. And when the time comes, we will strike where they least expect." Voss grinned, for the first time in hours. "Commander, the crew believes in you. They believe in humanity." Reyna's lips pressed into a thin line. She didn't need words. Humanity's courage spoke louder than any command. In the darkness, the Empire's dreadnought drifted among broken asteroids. A voice, cold and controlled, spoke from the bridge. "Humans, they cannot be allowed to survive. Prepare the superweapon. Activate immediately." Reyna felt a chill as her sensors picked up a faint energy signature, unlike anything she had seen. The Empire was escalating. They were bringing something more powerful, something designed to crush hope itself. The Odyssey sped away from the wreckage, heading for a distant system where they could regroup. Every twist, every jump, was part of a larger plan. Humanity had survived this encounter. But the war was far from over. And somewhere in the void, a silent thought spread among the Empire's fleet. These humans, they were not just clever. They were unstoppable. The Odyssey moved silently through the black void, its hull scarred from the battle but intact. Commander Reyna Cole's eyes scanned the sensors. Something cold and heavy had entered the system. Something that made even the Empire's own fleets cautious. "Commander, energy readings off the charts," Navigator Elon Tove said, his voice tense. "It's massive. And it's moving toward us." Reyna leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "Describe it." Elon swallowed. "It's bigger than any dreadnought. Its shields are unlike anything I've ever seen. It's the superweapon Admiral Sorek mentioned in secret briefings. They built it to erase entire fleets at once." The crew exchanged nervous glances. The stories of the Empire's superweapon were almost myths, rumors whispered in fear across distant systems. And now it was real, and heading straight for them. Voss spoke up, voice low. "We can't outrun it. It's too fast, too powerful. If it fires, we're finished." Reyna's jaw tightened. She knew fear could freeze a crew in its tracks, but it could not happen here. "We won't run. Humans never run. We survive because we fight smart. Every move counts. Get ready." The first pulse hit. The sensors flared red, alarms screamed, and the ship shuddered. The energy wave passed, destroying nothing but sending tremors through space. The superweapon tested them, probing, measuring, calculating. Reyna gritted her teeth. "It's learning our patterns. It's adaptive. We can't let it corner us." The Odyssey darted toward a dense asteroid belt, weaving between massive rocks. The superweapon's energy beams sliced through the field, obliterating asteroids with precision. Still, the humans moved faster, slipping between explosions and debris. "Commander," Elon said, voice tight, "they're predicting our moves. Each jump, each turn, they're countering it instantly. This isn't just power, they've made it smart. Deadly smart." Reyna took a deep breath. "Then we fight smarter. Initiate Project Echo." Voss's eyes widened. "Project Echo and now? It's untested." Reyna's lips pressed into a thin line. "Unproven or not, it's our only chance. Prepare the decoys, deploy the drone swarms, and mask our signature. Let it into the trap. We buy time for the colonies." The crew worked quickly, fear sharpening their focus. Decoy ships activated, lights flashing, signals bouncing through space. Tiny drones darted in every direction, creating confusion. The superweapon paused. Its sensors detected multiple targets, impossible targets. Its enormous guns powered up, firing at decoys. The blasts tore through the drones, but the Odyssey was already elsewhere, slipping unnoticed through the chaos. Reyna's heart pounded, but her voice remained steady. "Good. Keep it chasing shadows. Every second counts. Every second saves lives." Outside, the superweapon unleashed another wave of energy. Massive arcs of light cut through the asteroid field. Each pulse sent shockwaves across the human ship. The hull groaned. Sparks flew. But the humans were precise. Every maneuver, every turn, every burst of speed kept them alive. The Empire's dreadnoughts followed, blind and furious, smashing into asteroids or colliding with each other in the chaos. Reyna smiled faintly. The trap was working. The humans were small, but their brains, their courage, and their planning gave them power far beyond their size. Far away, Admiral Sorek clenched his fists, rage burning. "They're surviving, how? Everything is calculated, everything fails, except them. This is impossible." In the bridge of the Odyssey, Voss wiped sweat from his brow. "Commander, the drones are holding, but the superweapon is adapting faster. We can't keep this up forever." Reyna's eyes scanned the stars. "We don't have to keep it up forever. We only need one chance, one moment. And when that moment comes, humanity strikes back." A sudden tremor ran through the ship. The superweapon fired directly at the Odyssey. The shields strained, glowing red. Warning alarms screamed. The crew held their positions, gripping consoles, bracing for impact. Reyna whispered to herself, almost as if speaking to the stars. "Not today. Not while we breathe. Not while humans stand." The Odyssey launched a series of small, targeted bursts toward the superweapon's vulnerable nodes, while drones continued to distract. The massive energy pulses collided with decoys, but one small hit landed on a critical subsystem. Sparks flew on the superweapon. It faltered, just slightly, but enough. Reyna's lips curved into a determined smile. "Now, hit it again. Strike precisely. Make it feel humans' wrath." Outside, in the black void, the superweapon paused. Somewhere deep inside, the first signs of panic flickered through its systems. And humanity, small, determined, and relentless, was ready to show that even the mightiest enemy could be challenged. The stars above seemed to shiver. Something was coming, a storm of human courage, a strike that would echo across the galaxy. And the Empire had no idea what awaited them. The Odyssey drifted silently through the black void, hiding among shattered asteroids. Commander Reyna Cole's eyes scanned the readings. The superweapon had faltered slightly. One small weakness. One small crack. Humanity's chance had come. "Commander, the nodes we hit, energy fluctuations detected." "It's destabilizing," Lieutenant Voss said, disbelief in his voice. Reyna's lips pressed into a thin line. "Good. That's all we need. Prepare the strike fleet. This ends now, or at least, this chapter of the war." The crew moved swiftly. Drones swarmed ahead, decoys flickering in the void. Small human frigates, hidden until now, began to emerge from hyperspace. The Empire didn't notice them yet. Every ship, every laser, every pulse was timed with perfect precision. "Commander, fleet ready," Elon Tove said, hands steady but eyes wide with tension. Reyna nodded. "Engage on my mark. Do not hesitate. We strike as one." The human ships darted out like shadows, small and fast. Lasers streaked through the void, striking the superweapon and its escorts. Explosions lit the darkness as the Empire's fleet struggled to respond. Every human maneuver was clever, precise, designed to exploit every flaw, every delay, every moment of arrogance from the Empire. Admiral Sorek watched in horror from the command center of the dreadnought. Impossible. How, these humans? His hands trembled. They're attacking? All of them. Coordinated. The superweapon's massive beams fired, but too late. Humanity's fleet had already struck the weak points. Sparks flew, armor cracked, systems failed. One by one, the dreadnought's guns went offline. The smaller ships of the Empire collided, retreating or destroyed. Humanity was small, but unstoppable. Reyna's eyes never left the screen. Keep pressure on the nodes. Focus fire. Make every shot count. The Odyssey led the charge, weaving between debris, drawing attention while the rest of the fleet struck. Lasers tore through the superweapon's outer armor. Explosions lit up the void. And then, one critical strike. A chain reaction of energy pulses surged through the Empire's weapon. The dreadnought shuddered violently. Alarms blared. Smoke and sparks erupted from its hull. A massive energy core blew apart, sending a wave of force across the battlefield. Imperial ships were thrown into chaos. Voss grinned, disbelief mixing with triumph. "Commander, we did it. We actually did it." Reyna's jaw tightened. She didn't celebrate. Not yet. Not done. "We've damaged it, yes. But they'll regroup. Always. Keep the fleet moving. Every second counts. Lead them into open space. Maximize damage." The Empire's surviving ships tried to rally, but humanity was already gone, vanishing between asteroids and hyperspace jumps. Every strike had a purpose, every retreat a trap. Humanity was small, but clever, fast, and fearless. Far away, Admiral Sorek slammed his fist on the console. "They survive. Again. Every fleet we send, every weapon, destroyed or neutralized. How? How are humans doing this?" A voice, cold but fearful, spoke beside him. "They're different. We cannot predict them. We cannot control them. They don't fight like others. They adapt. They learn. They strike where we are weak." Reyna leaned back in her chair aboard the Odyssey, eyes scanning the silent void after the battle. The superweapon was crippled, but not destroyed. The Empire would rebuild. They always did. But humanity had struck first, hard and precise, proving they could challenge the mightiest force in the galaxy. "Report," Reyna said softly. "All ships accounted for. Minor damages only," Voss replied. "The colonies are safe for now." Reyna nodded. Humanity's victory wasn't complete, but it was a statement. A warning. Humans could survive the impossible. Humans could fight back. And humanity would never stop, not while the stars were still theirs to defend. Somewhere, deep within the remnants of the Empire's fleet, a voice whispered in fear and awe. "The humans, they strike first, and when they do, nothing can stop them." The stars above seemed to tremble as the human fleet moved silently through the void. For the first time in centuries, the Empire understood something crucial. Humans were no longer prey. They were hunters. And Commander Reyna Cole, at the helm of the Odyssey, knew the fight had only just begun. The void stretched endlessly, black and silent. But inside the Odyssey, tension was thick. Commander Reyna Cole's eyes flicked across the sensors. Humanity had struck first, but the Empire would not forgive such humiliation. They would come back stronger, faster, smarter. "Commander, multiple signals detected, Navigator Elon Tove said, voice tight. The Empire is regrouping. They've assembled a fleet, larger than before. And it's headed straight for the colonies. Reyna's jaw tightened. They never learn. They think size and numbers win wars. They've forgotten what humans are capable of. Voss leaned over the tactical console. We can't fight them head-on. Too many ships, too much firepower. We'd lose everything. Reyna's eyes narrowed. Then we don't fight head-on. We hit where they're weak. Where they think they're safe. Prepare the plan for Operation Firestorm. The crew glanced at each other. Firestorm was risky. Almost suicidal. But humans thrived on risk. They thrived on strategy, ingenuity, and courage. Far away, Admiral Sorek's fleet was moving like a wave across the galaxy. Every ship ready, every weapon charged. We will crush them, he said, voice cold and sharp. We will erase this human fleet before it reaches our systems. Nothing will survive. Nothing. But deep inside, even Sorek felt unease. The humans were unpredictable. Every previous encounter had ended with the Empire reeling. And now, they were advancing again. On the bridge of the Odyssey, the crew worked silently but with determination. Decoys were deployed, energy pulses charged, hyperspace coordinates mapped. Every move, every jump, was calculated to confuse, divide, and destroy the Empire's advantage. Commander, Voss said, pointing at the tactical display. They're taking the bait. Every fleet division is following us into the asteroid belt near the Zeta Quadrant. But the superweapon, it's still operational. They're using it as their centerpiece. Reyna's lips pressed together. Then we use it against them. Prepare the swarm drones. Focus the energy pulses. Fire on my mark. The fleet moved silently through the field. Asteroids loomed large, shadows cutting through the starlight. The Empire's ships advanced, confident, sure of their victory. Then the humans struck. Drones darted in patterns designed to confuse and mislead. Energy pulses detonated near the superweapon's shields, drawing fire. The dreadnought and its escorts spun, trying to respond, but the humans were everywhere at once. Commander, the superweapon's shields are weakening, Elon said, eyes wide. Reyna nodded. Good. Keep them distracted. Every second counts. The Odyssey led the attack, weaving through chaos, drawing attention, while smaller human ships struck weak points. Explosions lit the asteroid belt, rocks torn apart by energy blasts. Imperial ships collided or were destroyed one by one. In the Empire's command, panic spread like wildfire. They're coordinated, precise, impossible. Sorek shouted, slamming his fists on the console. Every attack, anticipated. How? A voice beside him whispered, trembling, humans, they think differently. They don't just react. They create opportunities in chaos. Back in the asteroid belt, the human fleet pressed on. Every strike, every maneuver, was calculated. The superweapon faltered under repeated attacks. Smaller dreadnoughts were disabled. Fighters destroyed. Humanity was small, but their brains, courage, and strategy made them unstoppable. Reyna's eyes scanned the battlefield. We've weakened them, but we don't stop here. We lead them to open space. One final strike. Precision only. Avoid unnecessary risks. The Empire's fleet tried to reorganize, but humanity was already gone, vanishing through jumps, appearing unexpectedly to strike again. The stars seemed to tremble as humans moved like shadows, striking, disappearing, and leaving chaos behind. Voss leaned back, breathing hard. Commander, they're terrified. The Empire. It's the first time I've seen them hesitate. Reyna's eyes softened slightly. Good. Fear is powerful. Use it wisely. The galaxy will remember humans as more than prey. More than fighters, as hunters. Far away in the warship's command, a voice trembled. Commander, they are not ordinary. We cannot predict them. They are too clever, too fast. Reyna's gaze swept the void. This is only the beginning. The Empire will regroup, but humans will adapt. Every battle teaches us. Every strike makes us stronger. And when the galaxy watches, they will see what humans are truly capable of. The Odyssey and the fleet disappeared into hyperspace, leaving a trail of wreckage and confusion behind. The Empire was shaken. For the first time, they feared humans not for their size or weapons, but for their courage, cunning, and relentless spirit. And somewhere deep in the void, a single thought spread through the Empire's fleet: humanity strikes first, and when they strike, nothing can stop them. The black void stretched endlessly, but the Odyssey and its fleet moved with purpose. Commander Reyna Cole's eyes scanned the tactical displays. This was the moment, the turning point. Every maneuver, every strike, every risk had led to this. The Empire had underestimated humans for the last time. "Commander, all systems ready," Lieutenant Voss reported, voice tight with anticipation. "Fleet is positioned. Drones deployed. Decoys in place. The superweapon is vulnerable after previous attacks." Reyna's jaw tightened. "Good. Silence all unnecessary communications. No alerts. Every move must be perfect. Humanity will strike not just with power, but with precision and courage. This is our moment." The Empire's surviving ships had regrouped, their dreadnoughts leading the charge. Their confidence was shaken, but they still believed size and firepower could crush humans. They didn't understand one truth: humans were not predictable, and humans never surrendered. "Coordinates locked for the ambush," Navigator Elon Tove said. "Once we enter the open sector, we strike together. Every ship, every drone, every energy pulse, synchronized." Reyna's eyes swept across the bridge. "Then we give them what they fear most: humans united, fearless, and unstoppable. On my mark, engage." The Odyssey led the fleet out of the asteroid field into open space. Stars stretched into streaks of light as the human ships moved like shadows. The Empire's superweapon activated, energy beams glowing, ready to destroy anything in range. "Mark," Reyna said, voice calm but sharp. Every human ship fired. Energy pulses struck the superweapon's critical nodes. Drones zipped between enemy ships, confusing sensors and forcing evasive maneuvers. Smaller human frigates darted in and out, striking weak points with deadly precision. The superweapon shuddered. Sparks flew along its massive hull. Alarms blared. Imperial ships collided or were destroyed, unable to respond fast enough. The humans were everywhere at once, striking with intelligence, speed, and courage. Voss grinned, disbelief mixing with triumph. "Commander, it's working. The superweapon, it's destabilizing." Reyna's lips pressed together. "Keep focus. Don't celebrate yet. Every strike counts. Lead them into final positions. Humanity doesn't just fight, they outthink." The fleet pressed on. The Odyssey darted close to the superweapon, drawing attention while smaller ships struck again and again. Energy pulses overloaded critical circuits. Sparks flew. Smoke billowed. The massive ship groaned under precise human attacks. In the Empire's command, panic spread. Admiral Sorek's face was pale. Impossible. Every fleet, every weapon, destroyed or neutralized. How are they doing this?" A young officer whispered in fear. "Commander, they're humans. They fight differently. They adapt. They strike where we are weakest. They think like predators." Reyna pressed a button. The final strike sequence activated. Tiny drones zipped in, detonating in perfect sync with concentrated energy pulses from human ships. A chain reaction surged through the superweapon's core. It shuddered violently, sparks and fire spreading along its hull. The dreadnoughts tried to respond, but their attacks were delayed, miscalculated, or blocked by human strategy. One by one, they were destroyed or disabled. The Empire's fleet faltered, morale breaking under the unexpected ferocity and intelligence of the humans. Voss's eyes widened. "Commander, We did it. We actually did it. Reyna's gaze remained steady. Not yet. Stay vigilant. Finish the sequence. The superweapon's core exploded in a brilliant burst of light. Energy pulses rippled through space. The Empire's ships were thrown into chaos, some drifting helplessly, others destroyed outright. The humans pressed their advantage, striking quickly and disappearing before the enemy could recover. Far away, Admiral Sorek watched helplessly as his fleet crumbled. No, it can't be. Humans. Impossible. The Odyssey and the human fleet regrouped silently. Minor damages only. Every ship accounted for. Humanity had delivered the first decisive strike against the Empire, and the galaxy would never see them the same way again. Reyna stood, finally allowing herself a breath. We survived. We struck first. And we showed the galaxy. Humans are more than prey. Humans are hunters. We fight, we endure, and we never surrender. Voss smiled, pride and awe in his eyes. Commander, the colonies, the systems, they'll be safe now. Humanity will remember this day. Reyna's eyes swept the stars. Not just remember, they'll be inspired. This is only the beginning. The Empire will rebuild, but so will we. Stronger, smarter, braver. The stars above seemed to tremble. The human fleet moved silently through space, leaving wreckage, chaos, and awe in its wake. The galaxy would remember the name of humans who dared to strike first. And somewhere in the remnants of the Empire's fleet, a single thought spread like fire. Humans, they fight differently. Humans, they cannot be stopped. The Odyssey led the fleet into hyperspace, shadows against the stars, ready for whatever challenge came next. Humanity had struck first. Humanity had struck hard. And the galaxy had shaken in response. The stars had changed. And so had the balance of power.